Hello, I am Albert Einstein. I am a famous scientist most well known for the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity, if you do not know what it is most well known as the mathematical formula of E=mc squared. Today it has helped create a global positioning system, or GPS as it's commonly called, electromagnets, and even nuclear power plants. The creation of this revolutionary theory all started when I was born. March 14th of 1879 in Ulm-Württemberg, Germany to be exact. When I was a child, I was fascinated by the invisible forces that moved the point of a compass around. I also loved my geometry book. My love of physics and the properties of dimensions naturally caused me to become a physicist. At first, my theories were largely ignored by the physics community, but then one man, the most prominent physicist of his time, Max Planck, took interest with my papers. Once he became interested with my theory, so did others in the field. Those who were interested put my ideas to the test, and they were found to be accurate. But after such notoriety, I realized a flaw in my theory. It did not take into account gravitation or acceleration. I spent the next 10 years reformulating my theory to solve this error. I gave 6-hour lectures in the summer of 1915 about my then incomplete theory. Months later, I finished my theory, but a man named David Hilbert, who had then come to all the lectures and had asked me about the details of my theory, had published the theory as his own a mere 5 days before I would. Though I was understandably bitter, I forgave him. Today, the publishing of my paper is known as the Einstein-Hilbert action, but the theory is still credited to me. In 1921, I won the Nobel Prize for Physics. That was for my work on the photoelectric effect instead of the theory of relativity. When I was awarded the prize, though, people mainly discussed the theory of relativity instead of my work on the photoelectric effect. In 1931, I was forced to leave Germany because my life was threatened by the Nazis. I then moved to Princeton, New Jersey, in the United States. In 1939, I was told that since I was a famous scientist, that if the government was going to listen to anyone that a nuclear weapon was a necessity, it was going to be me. I helped write a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt saying that we needed a nuclear weapon. The weapon was built and it was used on Japan August 6th and August 9th of 1995. This was when I had begun to regret my decision to write that letter. I had been a pacifist my whole life. I had believed that there were no answers in violence. When I had done this, I immediately tried to right my mistake by joining those who said that nuclear weapons must be controlled and that their spread must be stopped. I was one of those who formed the Emergency Committee of Atomic Scientists. This focused on using nuclear technology for peaceful means instead of violent ones. Later in the year 1952, I was offered presidency of Israel because of my prominence in society and my importance in the Zionist movement. Though, in my age, I politely refused the position. I died only 3 years later on April 18th of 1955 from an aortic aneurysm.